Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
It's your personality, EA. It's your tour guide, EA. It's whatever you want to call me, but call me EA. Let's roll. Are you kidding me?
Analyzethis, series, the financial literacy series, right? I brought them in from Memphis and Atlanta and Washington. We just gonna sit here, we just having a roundtable discussion about, the power of credit, the purpose of it, and the goods. Ain't no bads. I won't say the good and bads, but ain't no bads. It's all good. Credit is all good. You better get your credit right. You better find out before your time's out, right? Right, gentlemen? What you say? Amen.
Yeah,
amen. The choir says amen. Man, Ron, you said some really powerful shit, man. Like, we gotta restore the village. You know what I'm saying? We gotta really, really, really teach these guys. The men. The men has to take it back to the, back to the village, to our individual village, and start leading better, man. How do we instill that into the men? You know what I'm saying?
I think it's gonna start with a few, and it's gonna lead to many.
Hey.
Right? But we gotta start with a few, and we gotta understand that we're gonna go down a road that a lot have never walked down. We're gonna go through a path that's uncharted. We're going through a path that most of us in our community don't believe exists. Meaning, most of us in our community don't believe that good credit exists.
Right.
Right? Let me ask something. Do you ever wonder why most predatory lenders are in our communities? Right? We're in a beautiful home here. Let's drive around this community. Let's go see how many payday loans and title maxes and some of these predatory lenders that exist over here. Bet you we won't find any.
None.
But then let's go into southeast or northeast Portland and let's go see what's out there.
Man.
Right? They prey on the lack of understanding. I don't want to call it ignorance. The lack of understanding.
Right. That's
on
what
credit.
That's what it is.
Right? So we really have to be persistent in our pursuit of education and empowerment.
Man, that's
on
the
this mission,
that's
right?
the scariest part. Being persistent and consistent with words.
And it's tough sometimes because you're going to get into a heavy discussion with somebody who may not understand it.
Right.
And they'll be confidently wrong. They're going to tell you that they live a cash-based life. I love having those conversations because the reality is when your cash is gone, what do you have?
Right.
See, I can spend the credit and slowly pay that back.
Right.
So I can leverage that, right? So we got to teach leverage.
Right.
I love talking to the millennials about that because, this young man right here, his story of the 1.9% interest, signing and driving, no documentation.
Man, talk to us about that, bro.
That's huge. At the age of 23.
Tell me, how'd you do that? How'd you accomplish that, bro? That's a mighty feat for a 23-year-old.
Well, first off, it all starts with education. You have to educate yourself on credit and how credit works, and also about these bureaus and how this dispute process works. Mm-hmm. So, I started out with a 490 credit score, and I actually went to an apartment while I had that 490 credit score. They told me, hey, you can't stay here because you don't have a 500 credit score.
What?
500. That's all I needed. Now, I went through my process, sent out my dispute letters, and 15 days later, I got a letter back basically stating that 2 items had been deleted from my credit and had a 159 point increase. 159 points.
All because of the service.
All because of the service.
And the educating yourself.
Well, yeah, and the education.
Putting yourself in a better position.
So I think that's a whole nother point, right? So you talk about education. Most people don't understand that there's a law out there to protect you, right? So the Fair Credit Reporting Act is out there to protect you. And most people understand you can dispute anything that's on your credit report. Do you know that they say 80% of all credit reports have errors on them? 4 out of 5?
Man.
4 out of 5 credit reports have errors on them. 80%. Right?
Because most of us run from it.
So let's think about all the news we're seeing, all the data breaches that are happening. Equifax breached.
According to the credit monitoring firm, the hackers may have accessed the names, social security numbers, birth dates, addresses, and some driver's license numbers of an estimated 140 million people.
Cyber attacks that are happening every day, everywhere, right? Well, if all these things are happening, and now you got identity theft, they say every 2 seconds an identity is stolen. But if you know all these phenomena are happening out there, you got to be checking your credit, more importantly, disputing things that are on there.
Man.
Right?
Absolutely.
And then you got to understand the equation of the FICO system. Because it's nothing but a simple mathematical
See, when you say FICO
equation.
system, I have to stop you right there.
What did you say?
What the hell did you just say?
FICO system? What is it?
Exactly.
What is that?
So think about that. We go through elementary school, middle school, high school. Some of us even go to college.
Righteous.
And they ain't taught us about the FICO system.
I ain't never heard of it.
Right? But they taught us the square root of pi.
What's that?
Exactly. Why the hell we need that, right?
Right.
They taught us how to dissect frogs and all this old mess. But when we graduate, and really, I don't know, when the last time you guys used the square root of pi since you been out of high school?
I haven't even. I actually forgot it now.
Yeah, exactly. It's designed for us to not understand it, right? So yeah, we got to get educated. You can just type in FICO score system on Google it. It'll give you a simple pie chart where you understand that 30% of your credit report is this piece, 35 is this piece, 10%, 10%, 15%.
That's deep.
It's a pie. See, for me, it's just an equation. So once you understand the equation, now it's your job to manipulate the equation in your favor.
Righteous.
That's it.
So yeah, you want some next level shit when you're talking
That's
like
it.
that. Like
We're just talking a
so
simple
basically,
math.
just to summarize it, it sounds like the education is very important. And then with education comes the art of manipulation, because once you learn how to navigate credit, and that's when you're able to.
Well, let's say manipulation sounds as though we're cheating the system. Right?
Yeah.
It's not really cheating. It's more or less understanding and being smart and utilize the system in your favor.
Righteous.
So we're saying manipulation, but it's really more understanding.
Hey,
That's really what it is,
hey,
right?
I like that better. I do like that better.
Right. So I think
that doesn't sound arrestable.
Right.
Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying?
And just a matter of doing. Once you get the knowledge, now you have to apply it. It does you no good to sit on it. A lot of people hear stuff and so forth and don't actually apply it. So you still have to take the initiative and apply what you know, and then you'll see the results.
I'll say this: nobody that I know, or nobody that any of your podcast listeners, should have bad credit. If they do, that's a choice.
Man.
Nobody you know or I know should have bad credit.
Right.
Because we have solutions.
I'm telling you, people,
Nobody.
analyze this topic at gmail.com right now. I'm going to line you up with the people that's going to figure it out with you. They're going to hold your hand through it. I know you don't know. I know. I didn't know either. Fuck. Shit. Drink. Let's drink. Drinks. Take a sip. Drink. Breathe. Analyze this topic at gmail.com. Give me information. I'm going to connect the dots. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to make sure you get your credit figured out. Because time is running. I'm telling you, man. Time is running. Man, it takes time. How long does it take to, to fix it, from start to finish a process? What would you say, average?
I think all results vary. I think it's a process.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this: it took time to get on there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna take time to get off there. Some's gonna happen faster than others. Like this young man had immediate success.
Right.
I know I've seen individuals that have went through this process and they've had bankruptcies. Some people have bankruptcies and went off in 30 days. Some it took 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends. I think it depends on the individual. I think it depends on the timing of the process. But I think it's important to understand that there's a law out there that allows you to challenge anything to make sure everything on your report is verified and valid.
And I think it's important for you to know that financial literacy is important. You have to push that. Like, you brush your teeth every day, you gotta stay on it every day. So it's like, even if it takes 6 months, it's 6 months worth it. It's better if you're in your 40s, if you finna turn 41 or 42, it's better to be in position to be, have your credit walking in the right way versus being how you are now, uneducated, not doing nothing about your credit. Man, I'm getting a caller right now. I hope her credit is right. Caller, is your credit right? Because if you ain't, you gotta call me back, because I only fuck with people with good credit. I only want good credit people talking to me right now.
I kind of wish we lived in a world, society where everybody had to walk around with an illuminated credit score on your forehead.
Man, that'd be dope.
Right?
That'd be dope.
That'll make you turn real quick for some of them dimes with them 490s, right? And go look at that average looking girl with that 18.
Hey, I want her. Where you at? Hey, if your credit is right, we want to talk. We want to hear from you. We want to know how you got your credit right. You might have some tips. Analyze this topic at gmail.com. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other. Let's go.